All right, 49ers Kyle Shanahan John Lynch just wrapped up their press conference. These are my instant reactions and takeaways, kind of recapping the main points of things that they talked about, things that stood out to me. Nick Sorensen, he is still on the staff. He has been demoted from being a defensive coordinator, but there is a chance he could actually fill the role for special teams coordinator. Now that isn't official or anything. They are still going to interview candidates for that role, but they are also open to looking at him as an option among others. In regards to the defensive coordinator spot, they did mention Brandon Staley is going to be evaluated for that position, which I know fans will have thoughts for, but they're also going to be looking for other things. They've also mentioned that they aren't as tied to their scheme as they have been in previous years. So I take that as a positive in regards to the way that everything has come down. So they are willing to be a little bit flexible in that regard. So we'll see what ultimately happens there. We had a promotion today. Clay Kubiak was elevated to offensive coordinator. Kyle basically said he's been the offensive coordinator, just didn't have the title. So now the title matches, and the 49ers officially have an offensive coordinator. And he was the guy calling plays against Arizona. And Kyle thought he did a good job. In regards to Dre Greenlaw, obviously the social media stuff that popped up yesterday from Dre's girlfriend and Fred Warner's wife really kind of set everything on fire about his future. And they essentially said, we don't even know what his future is, so we don't know. And this is kind of like also what I expressed yesterday, because it had mentioned that he's leaving in free agency, and that remains to be seen because free agency hasn't started. And so there's a world that exists where, Dre hits free agency maybe and then comes back because the market dictates that. But I mean, that's what it sounds like. It's going to happen. So it's not a foregone conclusion either way. It did seem like they were open to Dre returning and not wanting him to leave. So there is still some positives with Dre potentially coming back. So we'll see. And obviously, Brock Purdy being a topic of discussion. Essentially with Brock, they continue to emphasize that Brock is their quarterback and they expect to get something done. So I think that is positive that they keep speaking about him that way. Kyle went as far as saying he's our guy. We have interest in Brock being around here for a long time. He even went as far to say that he expects Brock Purdy to be the quarterback as long as he is coaching for this team. And I was like, oh, well, that's a take right there. So, all right. So, hey, again, we'll see. We understand that nothing is final until it is. So at least they keep saying the right things about Brock and about his return. So that will be something that we continue to monitor. Obviously throughout the offseason, as we know that there is a potential for it to get squirrely. We just hope that isn't the case. Other things that have happened, Javon Hargrave is expected to be a post-June 1st release due to cap constraints. However, they did mention that they do expect potentially that he could return if he hits the open market and it proves that, hey, it's not what maybe they had anticipated it would be for him to sign elsewhere. And if he's willing to sign, at the right price, that could definitely be something that they are very interested in. So don't close the door just yet on Javon Hargrave. So also in kind of talking about potential future of players, they were asked specifically about Deebo Samuel. Now, Deebo Samuel is under contract, so it is important to note that when they say that we absolutely expect Deebo Samuel to be back next year, he's under contract. So, of course, he is expected to be back. But as we know, in kind of identifying coach speak and GM speak, he's under contract. So, of course, he's expected to be back next year. But as we know, things change. So, I think there's been a lot of discussion about what the future of Deebo Samuel looks like. At least they gave him a vote of confidence that he will be returning. But I also want it to be known that there is a potential that, there's still something that could happen. So just keep that in mind as we move forward through this. And then Trent Williams. Trent Williams is expected to play next year, so that is a good sign for the San Francisco 49ers. So there's obviously a lot of other things that were discussed and mentioned throughout this press conference. It was a long one. It was over 30 minutes long. Lots of questions being asked, a lot of reporters talking over themselves, trying to get their questions in. So, to be expected, there was a lot going on in this one, and definitely, a lot of self-reflection, and these guys talking about how difficult of a year it's been, and, talking about, how well they've appreciated guys like Ricky and Dominic Pooney and their rookies and all of those things. So there's a lot discussed about the situation, but at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. So what do you guys, I don't know if you guys had a chance to listen to it. What do you think about some of these updates? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.